Hey you, how are you? Do you want to talk about our feelings? You and me? Yeah, I don't want to either. But we need to. Let's get into it. Welcome back to video number 2! This video is actually sponsored by John True Plumbing. John True, thanks for putting up with my shit for the last 13 years. No joke, this is actually a super important thing that we really want to talk about today, and it's the difference between thinking and feeling. When you want to be thinking more, when you want to be feeling more, how to interpret feelings in a conversation, and how to interpret thoughts in a conversation. Classic example, thinking is something that you would do when you're building a rocket ship, and feeling is something you would do when you're halfway through a Pixar movie. You'll actually see this a lot. A lot of people refer to the Myers-Briggs example of like, I'm a T or I'm an F. Well, you can F your T in the A if you need to. Wow, that was aggressive.
Could I have a hug?
Now don't mishear me here. Feeling definitely has its place. When I say feeling, I'm saying emotion. There's a lot of decisions you have to make in your own personal life with relationships or big life goals that require a lot of feeling and like gut instinct. But we're talking about the argumentative side of things, which is a lot more thought heavy. Not feeling absent, but thought heavy. So if you're driving a car, thinking's behind the steering wheel and feeling is sitting on the passenger side of your best friend's ride. Trying to holler at me. You actually can also see this in the verbiage that people use. If you ever ask somebody what they want for dinner, they might say, oh, I feel like pizza, or I think pizza's a good idea. It's not something to do on purpose, it's more of just a window into how they would normally operate. Definition time. When I'm saying thinking, I'm saying actively using your mind to produce rational thoughts in a sequential order. Versus when I'm saying feeling, I have no idea. Seriously though, I tried to look up like a great definition for what an emotion is, and there's like 92 some odd theories and theorems that I came about. There are 3 top ones that kind of stick out though. First is the physiological theory, where your body's response physically to something induces the emotion. Then there's the neurological, where feelings are just a certain series of synapses firing within your nervous system. Then there's the cognitive, where the thought happens and then the feeling follows the thought to either solidify it or deter you from thinking about it later on. The thing that all 3 of those main theories have in common though is that a feeling or an emotion is a response to something. It's not something that you could ponder through, more of a, if something happens, there's a response, and that response is an emotion. And here's problem number 1 with trying to argue your feelings. They're subjective. What I feel about something is going to be radically different than what you feel about something, sometimes. For example, that's a Bible. We can all agree that this is a Bible. It's got Bible-y pages in New King James that are kind of hard to understand. Don't read that, it's New International. But we don't always agree on what the Bible makes us feel. Sometimes this makes me feel inspired, sometimes it makes me feel angry, depending on what I'm reading. It might make you feel hopeful or you feel joyous. See how the feelings are a little bit different from the thing that we're actually agreeing is the thing. Now, a feeling is a great thing to argue if we're talking about something more subjective like art or music. You and I could both listen to a Death Cab for Cutie album. I would cry a little bit, you'd get a little annoyed, but we talk about the greatness or not so greatness of the album and both kind of have a fun time doing it. What you don't want is to be arrested for a crime you didn't commit, end up going to court and having the jury feel their way to your conviction. I kind of feel like he's guilty, so he's probably guilty. Quite the opposite. You want evidence that proves you are not guilty. And that's kind of where we want to keep things, right? We don't want that initial reaction to, oh, he looks like he'd do something sketchy. We want that prolonged thought process of, oh, here are actually the facts and here's what we have to work with. Oh, no, he's not guilty at all. But between the 2 of us, I am definitely the instigator of my friend group and I'm probably guilty. That's just who I am. Problem number 2, when people argue their feelings, is that feelings change. First, someone can be little mad, and then they can be big mad. I mean, feelings change from sad to happy to angry to back to sad. I mean, have you ever talked to a teenager before?
Oh, we just fell down. We should cry.
Sadness, no!
So this leads us into pro-argument tip of the day, number 1, and your first logical fallacy. I'm so proud of you guys. Boom, baby! The appeal to emotion fallacy. You can recognize the appeal to emotion fallacy in literally every commercial on TV ever. Definition standards, the appeal to emotion is trying to manipulate or incite an emotional response out of somebody. Remember that emotions are responses to stimuli instead of like a compelling or valid argument. So like if you don't have facts to back up what you're trying to say. You might try to make somebody feel bad. One of the best examples we have of this comes from our friends, the vegans. A lot of the times you'll be talking to somebody who is vegan, and you will know this because they will have been telling you about their veganism for the past 20 minutes or so. And you'll ask them, what are some of the positive benefits? Where's the science behind it? Does it have a positive impact on our environment? And they'll say something like this. You wouldn't want to hurt this poor cow. Are you a cow murderer? Do you like murdering tiny baby cows? Instead of giving you the actual facts and figures and science you were asking for, right? Emotion in the place of an argument. Now, the main driver of why I wanted to put this video together is what's known as the ought-is fallacy. A lot of you guys know it by its more common name and its psychology definition of the confirmation bias. Now, the confirmation bias is when you're looking at interpreting a new experience as a confirmation of a pre-existing belief or theory or emotion. So for those of you out there that think the orange man is bad, you will go out and you will look for articles that say things like, Orange Man did it again. Orange Man's so stupid. Orange Man, what is his morning routine? You will go out and try to confirm your theory or your feeling that the Orange Man who's running our country or not running our country is not doing a good job by researching and sharing, without reading them, articles that say he's doing a bad job. Instead of looking at all the articles and all the research and all the sources and all the statistics to actually figure out if he is or is not doing a bad job, regardless of whether you like him personally, emotionally, or not. Now, I've only been on this earth for 30-ish years, and I have very rarely seen people break out of the cycle of confirmation bias. If we're going to survive this year together, we need to do it from a place where we can let go of those preconceived notions or those initial feelings, move into deep and fair and friendly discussions where we're not trying to prove each other wrong or trying to out-yell somebody else, but we're actually there to listen and to understand, because, like I said, you cannot separate thinking from feeling entirely. You can say something that might be true, and it still might hurt somebody's feelings. Yes, I do think that dress makes you look fat is a big example of when you probably shouldn't use facts. Thanks again, guys, for stopping by and watching the video. If you have any questions, drop a comment down below and I'll respond to it. Send me a DM, I'll respond to it. Start practicing this week. Notice when people are trying to use emotion to persuade you from a logical argument, and then notice when people are trying to confirm their previous biases. It's everywhere. Really easy to see now that you can see it. See you guys around.